Welcome to the video class series, dear students. Today we will continue with our history, chapter number 1, Rise of European Nationalism. Welcome to the video classes, class 10 students. From history chapter 1, today we will be covering the given topic, visualizing the nation. Visualizing means which is seen with our own eyes. We all know that the term nation is not some living thing or some object. Okay. So what happened? Artists in the 18th and 19th centuries began to portray nations as if they were persons. Like in India also, at the time of our freedom struggle, we also adopted that same visualization of our country as Bharat Mata. So same way, before India adopted this concept, it was already introduced in France and Germany and many other parts of Europe, where they begin to represent their country as a female figure. Remember, as a female figure. This is very important for you to understand. As a female figure, they begin to visualize their nation. So it is called allegory. The presentation of abstract ideas or principles by characters, figures, or events in narrative, dramatic, or pictorial form is known as allegory. So remember, presentation of a nation as a female figure is a type of allegory. It is symbolism. Okay. France was portrayed as christened Mariani, which was a popular Christian name. So, the allegorical figure of France is given the name Mariani. Christian Mariani underlined the idea of people's nation. You can see here the face of that figure. Mariani represented liberty and the republic by the cap and the cockade. Okay, what she is wearing, Mariani. So Mariani represent what? Liberty and republic by the cap and the cockade. Cockade is not shown here, but in your textbook you will find cockade. It is like a breastplate. Mariani images were marked on coins and stamps at that time. Similarly, Germania became the allegory of the German nation. You can see here Germania is shown. You can see the cockade on the figure. The breastplate is called cockade. So in Germany, that nation was personified as Germania. Okay. So question may come. So you should study this figure very carefully and all the objects and all the things which she is holding or which is around her. Question may come, what do you mean by all these objects? Say, the broken chain, it talks about freedom. Okay. Then you find a breastplate with eagle on it. It is a symbol of German Empire's strength. It talks about their strength. Then crown of oak leaves which she is wearing. It talks about heroism. साहस और बहादुरी को बतलाता है. Then sword, it talks about readiness to fight. Then black, red and gold tricolor which she is holding, that flag, it talks about, okay, the liberal nationalists in 1848, they came out with this design of flag. Then olive branch around the sword, willingness to make peace. Okay, so this is how whatever objects are there, they represent some kind of message. Rays of the sun behind that portrait, it talks about beginning of a new era, a new age, talks about new beginning. Okay, now nationalism and imperialism. Remember, imperialism, here the term imperialism means when a country or when an empire wants to extend its empire all across the globe, that is called imperialism. By the last quarter of 19th century, nationalist groups became increasingly intolerant of each other and ever ready to go to war. So remember, nationalism gradually, it made people intolerant of each other. So every nation began to fight with another nation. Nationalism no longer retained its idealistic liberal democratic sentiments. You know, the liberal nationalists, they okay, they propagated the idea of nationalism, but when this idea of nationalism came to the hand of conservatives, then it turned into different meaning. Now for them, spreading your empire was also part of nationalism, which is called imperialism. Okay, say for example Balkans. In exam, a question often comes about this region. The most serious source of nationalist tension in Europe after 1871 was the Balkans. We will see the map. A large part of the Balkans was under the control of Ottoman Empire. Okay, now these are the Balkan states: Romania, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Slovenia, Serbia and Montenegro. These comprised Balkan states and they were under the control of Ottoman Empire, the Muslim Empire. Okay, so here you can see the map. Now, one by one, European nationalists broke away from its control and declared independence. One by one, all these states, one by one, they broke away their, okay, they broke away free and declared themselves as independent nations from the control of Ottoman Empire. The Balkan people based their claims for independence or political rights on nationality and used history to prove that they had once been independent but had been subjugated by foreign powers. So these Balkan people, all those states which you saw, the people began to oppose Ottoman Empire, that once upon a time we were free, then we were brought under your control, now we want our independence. So one by one they all became free. Then what happened? Hence the rebellion nationalities in the Balkans thought of their struggles as attempts to win back their long lost independence. So as long as they were fighting against Ottoman Empire, everything went well. But after getting independence, they began to fight with one another. Okay. The Balkan states were jealous of each other and hoped to gain more territory at the expense of others. Therefore, during this period, there was intense rivalry among the European powers over trade and colonies as well as naval and military might. All these small states which got independence, which became free from Ottoman Empire, now the powerful nations of Europe like Germany, France, England, they wanted to control these smaller states. Okay, and that resulted into rivalry. England, Germany, France, Denmark, Spain, they all wanted to bring these countries under their control. Russia, Germany, England, Austro-Hungary were keen on countering the hold of other powers over Balkans and extending its control over that area. So this is how these powerful countries, they begin to interfere into the matters of these smaller countries, and that resulted into a type of rivalry among them, and therefore this led to a series of wars in the region and finally the First World War. It's a very serious thing how this rivalry led them to the culmination of First World War, which started in 1914 and lasted till 1918. Okay, so many countries in world which had been colonized by the European powers in 19th century began to oppose imperial domination. The best example is our own country. So when England and when other European countries, they were propagating the idea of nationalism, imperialism, then in India, the Indian people began to oppose the idea of imperialism. They began to say, if you so much focus upon your nationalism, India, as an Indian people, we also want our country to be free from your control. European ideas of nationalism were nowhere replicated, for people everywhere developed their own specific variety of nationalism. In other words, for India at the time of freedom struggle, what was nationalism for them? It was freedom from the British Raj. That was the idea of nationalism for them. But in England, what was the idea of nationalism? Imperialism. We should keep more and more countries under our control. So you can see the very definition of nationalism kept on changing. For France, it had different meaning. For England, it had different meaning. For India, it had different meaning. So this is how we understand that this nationalism, when it came to India, what happened? That you will definitely study in the next important chapter about our own freedom struggle. Okay, dear students, so whatever slides, whatever video series you have seen, I request you keep on looking them again and again, because they all carry very important information, and if still there is any doubt, then you can contact me. Thank you.